Now going over to the culture part of the podcast, you have Stanley Cups sell out near immediately as ladies go to the stores in droves to buy the new pink design. Which, granted, there are certain things in life that, as a man, you just do, such as suiting up. Every man always looks better in a suit. Also, don't buy a product in pink. Now, in terms of the legacy of what Stanley used to be, I'll bring out the OG. This is the old Stanley thermos that, truth be told, my grandpa used to use back in the day when he was working at a aluminum foundry plant in Michigan, one of the hottest, most miserable existence, working 7 days a week throughout the year. And he never complained once. Another issue with the youth today. But nevertheless, it's an instance where this product, brilliant. It's a good old hammer tone paint scheme. And truth be told, the parent company is Aladdin. That's why actually, if you look closely, it says Aladdin Stanley. But it's good old made in the USA. It's darn near bulletproof. These things will never die. But for some women, they just didn't appeal to this. They didn't like that design. Now, they still have this hammer tone type finish, unfortunately, in terms of supporting the U.S. economy and, manufacturing. Again, I partially blame politicians and the EPA for killing so many businesses, but they have shifted dramatically to overseas manufacturing. So if you see like the new Stanley Cups and, well, not the sports balls event, but the actual thermoses, they are manufactured in China, as many things are these days. Now, again, they thought, well, we're not really selling a lot of these. We're going to use a couple of interesting mechanisms. We're going to make it pink, which is hilarious that some people think it's sexist. And I was about to say I have a feminist friend. I thought I did. I've read feminists who actually hate the fact that there are pink products. And I can't help but laugh when those products sell in droves. Because again, you're not going to capture 100%. I'm not saying everyone on the planet wants a pink product, but there are certain preferences that are out there, and the market rewards the companies that provide those solutions. That's why you see these little dainty little pink toolkits. Those little tool packages are going to probably be used once or twice, but visually more appealing to different people with different color schemes, and truth be told, probably highly profitable. Now, this new trend is fascinating how quickly these things are selling out. Because again, it's just a thermos, but it is pink. And also important, they partner with Starbucks. So this comes to us thanks to Amira and Collis at USA Today. They note that the new pink Starbucks X Stanley Cup is selling out fast, and they're saying, here's how you can buy yours. Which, I don't know if perhaps you're inebriated and maybe you're drinking Bud Light, heaven forbid. But if you are, then perhaps you will want to buy one after listening to this article about how much people are buying and selling them for on third-party websites like electronicbay.com, or some people do call it eBay. Now, looks like it is a limited edition, which, again, never use that as a financial advice, especially. There's nothing more useless than a limited edition product. The only time those things ever go up in value is if you get like a 1 of 10 manufactured Lamborghini or something that the average person will never be able to afford. Because again, this isn't like a contract. They could literally just make more of these tomorrow. It means nothing. So again, a little disclaimer for anyone who like have their eyes light up when they hear the word limited edition, because an overwhelming majority of the time, the only thing that really limits it is their amount of how many they could sell. If they could make 7 billion or 8 billion of these tumblers and sell it to every human on the planet, they would. And they would still call it limited, hilariously enough. Now, again, this limited edition 40-ounce, they call it a quencher, was released nationwide Wednesday earlier this week in Starbucks stores and at Target locations as well. Which, again, given the demographics of who shops at Starbucks, who shops at Target especially, makes sense. It's mostly women. I'm trying to think of the last year I stepped inside a Target. I mean, they had their satanic materials last year, and everything's more expensive. It's really hard to beat Big Box Mart. They have most things you need in life at a more aggressive price point. Nevertheless, now it looks like, let's see here. It looks like the car, geez Louise. Again, this is before sales tax, so government always has to take a little bit more. Now, it looks like the cup sold exclusively at Target retails for $49.95. $49.95. And ridiculously enough, there are people on eBay listing these for $200 for a cup. It looks like they also note that the number of cups available for purchase will likely be restricted to 1 or 2 per customer. They're still waiting for additional feedback. It looks like a Starbucks spokesperson shared that the cup will not be restocked and will be only available for sale, quote, while supplies last, which again, if this is overwhelmingly successful as it has been, I mean, there's no reason for them not to make it again. So let me know in the comments if you think they'll just pump out another couple million of these, apparently how much they made. But it looks like, yeah, so there are 2 other Stanley tumblers, one in Target Red and Costco Pink that were reportedly released Sunday, and they're already out of stock as well. And now I'm just curious how much, if we buy it now, how many are on eBay right now? Let's see. Stanley is, oh, their auto check is pretty good. They don't, oh yeah. People are very proud of this Stanley Starbucks cup. Stanley Starbucks tumbler. First results. Go on the electronicbay.com. What are these people? This person's got to be drinking Bud Light. Someone is trying to list it for $300 or best offer. If I had a momentous amount of time on my hands, perhaps I'd offer them $1 for that, because I suspect it's worth probably about, it might be worth about $2.85 in scrap metal and raw materials. So perhaps I can make a profit if I were to purchase it at $1 price point. But no, so that's got $300 or best offer, $118 or best offer. That's ridiculous. $320. How high are it? So that's one of them was just asking. So here's one of those 59 people, or sorry, there's 59 bids on this Starbucks Stanley tumbler. It's up to $320. Gentlemen, please check your credit card statements. This is going to get out of hand. $320? I can't fathom this person's train of thought or logic. Granted, there's probably not much logic. They may be drinking Bud Light or they be inebriated. But $320, I can understand maybe someone paying 10 to 20% over list price, thinking they might be able to flip it for a profit. But at $320, I can't, and it says there's only a couple minutes left. I can't fathom, like, they're not going to be able to gain more money out of it to resell it. So that means someone might really want it that much. Now, let me see here. Let's go to the sold items and completed. Someone paid $250? Oh, wait, it said or best offer, so we don't know the actual price. That's always the nuance with eBay, or some people call it the electronic bay. Because again, if it's or best offer, that could be, I think that means it was listed for $205, but you don't know if it actually sold for $205 or $250. Okay, so I'm scrolling down. I'm seeing a couple where people actually paid this amount of money for this product. This had 30 bids, and it got up to $255, and they had the audacity to charge for shipping. On top of that, $7.20 for shipping, and don't forget the tax man. That's gonna, well, Texas is 8.25% as well. $255 for a tumbler, and they paid it. 30 bids were placed on that item. As I scroll down to the other completed sales, looks like we had one for $212.50 that had 13 bids and was sold. Another one was $179.99 or best offer was sold, but again, I'm not sure if that's the actual price point. A lot are being sold at or best offer. I'm trying to see how many are actually bid on. Here's another one that was sold with a bid. That was sold for $203.50. That was with 19 bids placed on the item. Let me see here. And that was sold very quickly. That was within 48 hours. Another one sold for $215.50. That was with 15 bids. I also can't help but notice the same person that's been making all these sales, which this person is brilliant. If you were to get this at the entry-level price point and you're flipping this for 2, 3, 4 or 5 times the original amount, I mean, that's not a bad ROI, to say the least. And especially when you're forcing them to pay shipping, too. So again, that sold for $215.50, and they charge $8.82 for shipping. And again, the tax man takes more as well. Let's see. Let's do one or two more completed sales. Another one sold after 5 bids for $202.50. See here. Another one was for $190. Again, that was for a bidding war of 7 bids. $205.50. Again, that sold after 21 bids were placed. Another one sold for $191.50. That was after 17 bids were placed. $213.50 after 23 bids were placed. And again, I understand people buy weird things. Truth be told, I mean, you look at, if you're watching the show, I got a vintage Blockbuster sign behind me, which, I mean, very few people would actually want that in their house, partially because of the impracticality, but also because of the size, the cost. I mean, I understand people buying weird things, but this is exactly the same, just pink. And I'm guessing it has a little bit of a Starbucks logo on it. Let me pull it up really quick. But yeah, these have been consistently sold for around 200. I think the top one that we saw that wasn't a or best offer was around $250. I see another one that was sold for $217.50 plus $12.45 for shipping. I mean, geez Louise, at least give these suckers, free shipping. Come on. All right, so if I go to they're sold, let me see, pull up their picture really quick. So it says the word Starbucks, but I don't even think, does it not even show the little mermaid thingamajig? Is it really that plain? I mean, their graphic design, I don't know if they're paying their graphic designers by the hour, but that's an even better ROI. All they did was, there's just literally just the stenciled out words. Well, I guess they do have the Stanley logo. So again, knocked out of the park for Stanley. They did perfect in this regard. But the Starbucks logo is just, it's just plus Starbucks. This is a plus sign, and the Starbucks, I guess the font may be trademarked, or I guess, it's the registered, it's the font of Starbucks, that the logo, but it's not like the actual face mascot logo. That was for $250. Jeez Louise. So yeah, if you could find one for list price, not giving financial advice, I'm just saying if I could find one at list price, shoot, even I might start selling these things. Jeez Louise is more profitable than IT or pharmaceuticals. So it looks like we'll do one more. So this one sold after 16 bids. This sold for $242.50 plus $12.45 for shipping. All that plus shipping. And it looks like, I wonder if you'll give me an actual number on how many were sold. So I scrolled through all those. That can't be right, could it? Now it claims there are 3,300 results for Stanley Starbucks tumbler. Now, truth be told, time is a limiting factor in life. No way. So I just jumped from page 1 to page 5. And again, it looks like the search results are accurate. It's showing me, again, they're different pictures, but it's the same object. It's the same pink Stanley cup. And that's astonishing. It really might be 3,000 of these were sold. Because again, I went from page 1 to page 5 to page 8 to page 12. And it's still showing me results for sold pink Stanley Starbucks cups. So in terms of marketing, it's a cultural phenomenon. And this is also one of the reasons why I suspect TikTok will never be banned. Because one of the reasons this went viral, as you might say, was some gal found it at the store and they did some promos, they saw it on the interwebs, and it was just wildly successful. I believe in 2023 they also had an article go viral where someone was in a car wreck, the whole car burst into flames, but the Stanley tumbler, they still had some ice in there apparently. So two factors aggregated with social media. I mean, there's such an overwhelming upside to social media. I don't think it'll ever be banned. I don't know how much regulation there'll be. Because again, if you're a business, Stanley, they're partially exceeding in this marketing campaign, the sale campaign, because of TikTok. It went viral. Everyone is watching it. It's getting the word out. It's so much more effective than a traditional, what you would think would be a traditional marketing where you just put a picture in the local newspaper. Which, again, perhaps I'm aging myself. The newspaper is like the internet, but on paper, in a way, without a comment section. Well, I guess no, they did editorials. So yeah, kind of like the internet on paper. It's a fascinating thing. Perhaps we'll have to do a documentary sometime on what newspapers were. But nevertheless, this company has a huge, overwhelming benefit from social media. So that's why I'm, excuse me, pretty skeptical that there'll really be any heavy regulation in that regard. And let me know in the comments, would you ever want to buy a pink Stanley thermos for, what were the prices there? From $200 to $300? I mean, even at, again, what was the original MSRP? Was it 45? No, I think it was right under 50, $49.95. So with, what was it? So the actual price, if you can find it at a store, is $49.95 at Target exclusively. So again, good marketing. Target locked this in with the exclusivity contract. So you have to go to that one store if you really want this product. So again, that's good marketing. You need the foot traffic to get in those stores. It's one of the most difficult things of retail is giving people a compelling reason to go to your store. But remember, it's $49.95. But you got to pay sales tax on that. So let's average that out. Yeah. So it's about another $5 maybe. So about $55 for a cup. And even if it came with a year of Starbucks coffee for free, I mean, I can't fathom getting that. Like by now, I feel like everyone has well, especially perhaps a little bias in being an IT point in case. It's one of those things where I feel like darn near everyone who has a Yeti already, or everyone who wants one already has one. But again, I'm fascinated. There's people still going out and buying these things in droves. They're tearing these stores apart. It's like a hurricane in there. Hurricane, pun moderately intended. So let me know, would you ever pay the list price for this product? So would you pay $55 for this little tumbler? And then, if you couldn't find it at the store, would you be willing to pay $200, $250, $300 for this glorified tumbler? Again, in terms of cultural phenomenon, it's crazy how things is maybe a use case in one of my favorite books called Freakonomics, where they talk about how some businesses just have a product or service that just explodes in popularity at certain specific points. But let me know, excuse me, in the comments. Again, it'd be fascinating to hear. Have you seen this in your experience? And as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, again, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of January. So if you click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback and how I can make the show better and better and better. Also, lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.